So today, I'm continuing my Game of Thrones obsession by talking about the 9 great houses of Westeros. You know, the lore around them, how they all got started, their origins, the people in there, you get it. So, with that being said, let's get started. And the first one, House Targaryen. The Targaryens were one of dozens of houses that lived in ancient Old Valyria, but left roughly 12 years before the Doom of Valyria due to a girl's vision foreseeing the Doom. They landed on what is now known as Dragonstone, a little island off the coast of Westeros in the Narrow Sea, and that's where they built their fortress, their castle. Um, Aegon the First Targaryen and his sister wives, Visenya and Rhaenys, then it took over Westeros with their 3 dragons, as well as their army. And this would be how Aegon got the name Aegon the Conqueror. At the time, the houses of Westeros simply couldn't defend against dragons. They didn't know how to, and they had no weapon to hurt them. Except Dorne, which I'll come back to later when I talk about them. And once the conquest was over and Aegon the Conqueror became the first king of the 7 kingdoms, this started their dynasty in Westeros that would last nearly 300 years, with 17 Targaryens sitting on the Iron Throne. It all came to an end when Jaime Lannister killed the Mad King, Aerys Targaryen, and the House Targaryen fell to House Baratheon. There were a couple other things throughout the history. There was the Targaryen Civil War, as well as the destruction of Summerhall. Those are 2 events that took out a lot of Targaryens as well. But that was the final nail in the coffin. And as far as we know, Jon Snow is the last of the pureblood Targaryens alive. When he dies, House Targaryen will go extinct. I've heard rumors that Daenerys is going to be resurrected in the Jon Snow show coming up, but they're just rumors and I don't know anything about it. Their sigil was black with a red 3-headed dragon on it breathing red fire. Their words were fire and blood, and they had 2 ancestral swords made from Valyrian steel, Blackfire and Dark Sister, and both of them have been lost. Blackfire was Aegon the Conqueror's sword, and it was lost after Aegar Rivers' death in Tyrell in the year 241 AC, or 241 years after the conquest. And then Dark Sister was lost when one of Aegon the Fourth's bastard sons, Brynden Rivers, or the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, went beyond the wall and never returned. And it's been lost ever since. House Stark of Winterfell. Winterfell is the ancestral castle in the north that was founded by Brandon Stark, or Bran the Builder. He gained that name as he built Winterfell and then helped build the wall, Storm's End, and even designed the stone high tower in Old Town. Dude build things, okay? Many stories say he gained help from the giants and from the children of the forest to build Winterfell and the wall. Before Aegon's conquest, the lords of Winterfell ruled as kings of winter, but afterwards they are now seen as wardens of the north. Winterfell is also renowned for its strength and honor. Their sigil is a great direwolf, a great direwolf head facing to the right. I think it's like the coolest one of the coolest ones. And their words are winter is coming. They had an ancestral sword known as Ice, a large 2-handed longsword made of Valyrian steel, usually used for like ceremonies, but Ned Stark did use it in battle during Robert and the Greyjoy Rebellion. However, after the Red Wedding, Tywin Lannister melted it down into 2 one-handed Valyrian steel swords. As of now, Winterfell is currently being ruled by Sansa Stark as the Queen in the North. House Lannister of Casterly Rock was founded by Lan the Clever, who took Casterly Rock from House Casterly with only using his wits. His backstory and how he took over the rock varies from story to story. One story says he made them believe the house was haunted by hiding in the walls and doing stuff. Another says he let loose a bunch of mice and rats that drove them out. And another says that he smuggled in a pride of lions and they devoured the Casterlys. No matter which one is true, he didn't need an army to take Casterly Rock, only his wits. Grand Maesters are even skeptical of this man's existence, stating he probably was just like a guard who, had the sex with one of the daughters, had a child, and had the rest of the family killed, and that started House Lannister. Either way, one of those stories are true. Who even knows? The High Lord of the Casterly Rock are known to be the Warden of the West, and Lannisters are the wealthiest house in Westeros because of the gold mining. Their sigil is red with a roaring lion on its hind legs, and their words are "Hear me roar." But their unofficial motto is "A Lannister always pays his debts." They had an ancestral sword, a Valyrian steel sword known as Bright Roar. However, it was lost when Tommen II Lannister sailed to the ruined Valyria in search of gold and artifacts and magic stuff. Yeah, and well, he never returned, and the sword was lost. But after melting down ice, Tywin Lannister created two more. One he gave to King Joffrey, who named it Widow's Well. And this sword's whereabouts is unknown. I'm assuming it got passed down to Tommen and then to Cersei, but it's just lost. We don't know what happened to it. The other he gave to his son and heir, Jaime Lannister, who then gave it to Brienne of Tarth, who named it Oathkeeper, to keep her oath to saving Catelyn's daughters, Arya and Sansa. As of now, Tyrion Lannister is the last of House Lannister, and he may just be the last one. He may not ever have any children. Maybe he will. Who knows? House Arryn of the Eyrie, also known as the Vale, was founded by Artus I Arryn, who was the first king of the Mountain and Vale. Before this, he was known as the Falcon Knight, an Andal Knight who defeated the first man of the Vale in the Battle of the Seven Stars. Since it's up in the mountains, this house is virtually impenetrable to any army. And it only has like one entrance, a very narrow gap that can and on the perches have bow and arrow people just shooting down arrows. So it's virtually impenetrable to any army. Unless, of course, you have dragons. It's known for its moon door, which is their primary way of executing people. Instead of beheading people, they have this circular door in the floor of the main room that's like 1,000 feet in the air at least. They just push them and watch them plummet to their death. This is how Eliza Arryn died. They also probably have the best army in the Seven Kingdoms, as they're the only army that's trained to fight in all environments, terrains, and weather. So truly, they're the only ones to do it. They're probably very, very strong, if not the strongest army in Westeros. Their sigil is one of the coolest in my opinion. It's a sky blue falcon soaring on a white moon on a sky blue background. Their words are as high as honor, and the current lord and the last of the Arryns as of now is Robert Arryn. And to me, that doesn't bode well for the future of the Arryns' control over the Vale. He's sickly, weak, and very childlike. He would have to do a lot of growing up to save the Arryns' control over the Vale. And I just don't think it's going to happen. Alright, moving on. House Tully of Riverrun. This house was founded by Edmure I Tully, who was a knight and the father of Axel Tully, who would become the first Lord of Riverrun. Edmure and his sons fought under Christopher IV Mudd, King of the Rivers and the Hills, also known as the Hammer of Justice, and many of his 99 victories. However, after his death, Edmure joined the mightiest of the Andal conquerors, Armistead Vance. Their sigil is a leaping silver trout on a rippling red and blue background, and their words are family, duty, honor. The current lord is another Edmure Tully. That's all I got for this house. They don't have much information on this house, so... Greyjoy of Pike was the main house of the Iron Islands. It was founded by the Grey King, who lived and ruled for apparently 1,007 years. He gained that name because his hair, eyes, and skin were all gray as the winter sea. Legend says he killed the sea dragon known as Naga. And after which the drowned god turned the dragon's bones to stone, and the rib cage became the Grey King's hall, and in which he kept heated with Naga's living flame. He took a mermaid as his wife, so his offspring could live on land and in the sea. After 1,007 years, he simply cast aside his crown and walked into the sea to descend to the watery halls of the drowned god. He's said to have had hundreds of sons who fought each other for the throne. The last 16 who survived divided the Iron Islands among themselves. And after Aegon's conquest, Vicon Greyjoy was chosen to be the Lord of the Iron Islands. Which is good because he was a very strong warrior and knight. Their sigil is a golden kraken on black, and their words are, "We do not sow." And after the death of Theon and Euron Greyjoy, Yara Greyjoy is the last of her family and is the queen of the Iron Islands. Baratheon of Storm's End. This house is the youngest of the great houses as it was founded in 1 AC, or 1 year after the conquest. It was founded by Orys Baratheon, who was one of Aegon the Conqueror's generals and closest companions, and when he married Argilla Durrandon, the only daughter of Argilic Durrandon, the last Storm King. With his death and the end of House Durrandon, Orys took their sigil and words and became the first Lord of Storm's End. The Lord of this house also had the title of Lord Paramount of the Storm Lands. And Robert Baratheon ended the Targaryen dynasty with his rebellion and became the first king of Westeros that wasn't a Targaryen in nearly 300 years. And he done this when he killed Rhaegar Targaryen at the battle at the Trident. Their sigil is gold with a crowned stag standing on its hind legs, and their words are, "We are the Fury." And after Daenerys legitimized Gendry as Robert Baratheon's bastard son, he became the new lord at Storm's End, with his official name being Gendry Baratheon. And I think that's fitting for him. Tyrell of Highgarden. Unlike the other houses, the Tyrells never served as kings or as noble knights or anything like that. The Tyrells served as stewards to House Gardner, who was the ruling house of the Reach, and the Tyrell lineage can be traced back to the mythical first king of the Reach, Garth the Gardener. The founder of the Tyrells was Sir Alistair Tyrell, an Andal knight and adventurer who showed such prowess he became the champion in Sword and Shield to King Gawain V Gardner. The Tyrell's rule of Highgarden wouldn't come until the death of King Mern XI Gardner at the Field of Fire during Aegon's conquest, at which Harlan Tyrell surrendered Highgarden to Aegon, and as an award, he was given Highgarden and the dominion over the Reach. The Lords of Highgarden are also given the titles of Lord Paramite of the Mander, Defenders of the Marches, High Marshals of the Reach, and Wardens of the South, and they're kind of like always going to war with Dorne, kind of. Their sigil was green with a golden rose, and their words were growing strong. They're known for their wealth and are the second wealthiest house, only surpassed by the Lannisters. But by the end of the show, the Tyrells were wiped out by the Lannister army, and they placed Sir Bronn of the Blackwater as the new Lord of Highgarden, as a reward for everything he's done for House Lannister. House Martell of Sunspear. This house is the ruling house of Dorne. It was founded by Morgan Martell, an Andal warrior and adventurer. He led the defeat of the local First Men, including houses Wade and Shell. During Aegon's conquest, Dorne was the only kingdom able to stalemate the Targaryens by outsmarting them using guerrilla warfare tactics. Queen Rhaenys Targaryen confronted the aged princess of Dorne, Maria Martell, who refused to submit to them. 4 years later, Aegon and Rhaenys arrived at Sunspear to conquer them like the other kingdoms, but it was empty, as if everyone just fled and left. The Martells had seemingly fled, and so Aegon declared victory, and they placed John Robsby as the new lord and left. However, the Dornishmen quickly came out of hiding and retook Dorne, killing Robsby. The princess, Miriam Martell, literally pushed him out of a window. Following this was 9 years of war, known as the First Dornish War. The Targaryens had burnt down every Dornish stronghold at least once, except Sunspear and its Shadow City. They didn't attack there because they knew Maria had bought a weapon that could kill dragons, as they had killed Rhaenys' dragon Meraxes. This weapon was the Scorpion Turrets. The war ended when Maria died of old age, and her son, Nemor, yielded to Aegon and returned the skull of Meraxes to King's Landing. Their sigil is orange with a red sun with a yellow spear going through it, and their words are unbowed, unbent, and unbroken. By the end of the series, an unnamed Martell is now ruling over the kingdom. We don't know his name, but he was there at the end, so... And those are the 9 great houses of Westeros. Like and subscribe if you did enjoy. Leave a comment of what you thought and hit the notification bell to be notified of all my future videos and other great stuff. I truly do appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a great day. Peace!